Right, welcome back to another episode of Who Knows Garage. I've actually done, I think, 2 more sessions in the garage since the last video, but I've got some new cameras to test, and it's just tidying up. It's just housekeeping at the moment, so I kind of thought it was boring just to release videos of me just tidying up and sorting things out. So these cameras have a time-lapse feature, so I set it to 5 seconds, popped it up in the corner, bam bam bam, which is what you'll probably be watching in this video if it's come out all right. The other 2 have, so I'm hoping this one does as well. So it's basically time-lapse for me turning this from a pigsty to something a bit more usable. One of the changes you'll probably notice is behind me. So yeah, that's about it. Yeah, it's just more housework. Most of that, I'll show you in a second, most of that out the back there is done. Most of the stuff out here in the front is done. It is just finishing off. So let's get cracking. Right, so this shelving unit was being thrown out at work, so I commandeered that. That found its way into the back of the car, so that's holding a fair amount of stuff on it. The workbenches and backs that I've put up to hold just everything. Big pile of mess. That's the part that needs sorting out today. Out the back, pretty much cleared. All the shelving is in and fairly tidied and organised. Bottle of ouzo. That actually belonged to I found that when I was clearing the garage out. It's Grandad's secret stash of ouzo. So yep, that's all sorted out. Since I got that big metal shelf there, I kind of ended up with these 2 sets of plastic shelves that are a bit too much. I've got nowhere to put them. So they'll probably be coming back home with me. I think I've got use for those in the spare room at home. That is the base of the old wardrobe, and I'm contemplating the idea of putting it here, moving this metal storage out down to here, and then putting that wooden shelving down here, so I'll go fishing as well, so I can put my fishing tackle and boxes and fishing tent and everything else. It's technically a bivvy on top of it, so because this place floods, it lifts it all off the ground and then I can store the fishing gear here as well. And then obviously, like I said, the workbench, which you've seen me build out of the old wardrobe. I own the speaker boxes, which you've seen me build as well. So that's it. So today's plan is to get all this out the way and tidied up and stored. Probably take those 2 shelving units down and put them in the back of the car. And then, well, it's entirely possible. Oh yeah, get rid of this pile of crap. And then it's entirely possible I might actually be able to do some bike stuff. Here we go. Alright, this camera's a bit close up for this one. I can't zoom it out any further, but there we go. So this is the current bike. It's not mine. It's one that somebody's asked me to get through an MOT. You saw me and Oliver take this apart to get to where we are. They finally given me a budget to get this thing back on the road. It's a 2012 Derby Senda DRD. It's been stolen twice, and then it's been just laid up in a garden for God knows how long. So it is currently making a list of what needs replacing. If you saw the video with me and Oliver, you remember when we took the headlight off the front, it wasn't actually attached. It was it was attached by cable ties, but the actual light wasn't the normal headlight you get off the bike. It was actually a torch that had been jammed into the headlight. and then cable tied onto this. So no, that won't pass an MOT. It needs mirrors, is one. I believe it will need new clutch and brake levers, because you've got to have the thing on the end. It's going to need a new ignition, because this one is totally foobarred. I don't know if that has to be an original. This is a repair that I did previously, trying to waterproof some of the cables because they weren't connecting. They didn't get another. They didn't have a dashboard, and that's the connector for the dashboard. So he was riding around without a dashboard. So that's another thing. So I need a new ignition. I need a headlight mount for this side to match the one on that side, because they've just ripped it off to get. They've just ripped off the headlight to get to the ignition. I need that. Mudguard, I don't know. This is the back end of this mudguard, and they've turned it around. I don't know what the legal requirements are for a mudguard for an MOT, but that might be okay, and just leave it like that. Body panels, I've got one that's intact. The other one was smashed. This front fender, radiator guard, whatever, appears to be intact. There's another one on that side. There's one of these on that side that's out the back, but that's pretty foobarred. As usual with these types of fairings, the screw holes get knackered. This one doesn't come off because that's rounded off into the fuel tank, so not doing that. That's going to be, well, we'll have to see, but that's a pain in the backside. But if I can get away with not having to undo that and build this up, then that's fine, because I don't want to spend any more money than I have to. Back end, I don't know why, but the back end was all smashed up. It's out there. You probably saw Oliver playing with it, the one that looks like a Halo gun apparently. So there, and indicators. Now, he was adamant that you wouldn't need indicators for an MOT because they're not fitted. But I believe that is an indicator switch, and therefore, if you've got it fitted, it must work. So they've got to have indicators, but that's not a major issue, because you can get aftermarket indicators for not a lot of money at all. And then the only other thing is down there, there's no chain guard, and I believe one of those is required for an MOT as well. So it's not a massive job, but the difficult part at the moment is the body plastics. Ignition, I don't think that's going to be an issue. I don't think it has to be a genuine OEM one. Probably get an aftermarket one, and that'll be fine. Clocks, probably going to be expensive. I know when the GSX got stolen, just the rev counter for that bike was 350 quid, and that didn't include the housing and all the plastic. That's just for the component. So I hate to think how much they're going to cost, so that's going to probably be an aftermarket. Headlight, again, I've got to take a trip down to the local dealership and just say I've got one of these, how much for these plastics, because I can find the 50cc ones online, but not ones for the 125. It doesn't seem to be a very... It's either that or they all get nicked and the plastics all get smashed up, which is why they never appear on eBay. But they're not the easiest things in the world to get parts for, so I'm finding. But that's the bike as it stands. Oh, a quick look around the garage. Excuse the light. Put up some hooks. They were just they were clothesline hooks that I found in a box. So just opened them up a bit, and now I can hang me stands up there. Another shelving unit with a load of crap on it. So look at that, tidy workbench. Found it, well, tidy-ish. All this up here. That's all done. Pretty much the space out here is done. There's some bits and pieces that I can't put anywhere for the moment, so they just get juggled around whenever I get in here. But wooden stand, fishing gear, lovely jubbly. Right, let's crack on with this thing. Right, so the highly observant among you will notice that this is not a Derby Sender. This is in fact a rat bike. Just had a quick trip down the dealership with the part bits and pieces, only to find out it's shut. So I should really have checked the website first, but most of the bike shops are open today, so I didn't think anything of it. So I've got a few hours to kill, so we might as well do something with this. I've still got to fit on the back light. I was thinking about a side plate for the number plate, but I don't know, I'm still not sold on that idea. I still quite like it being central and coming off of that. The only other concern I've got this, I have got a rear tail light out there that I can mount here, that's not a problem. The only other concern that I've got is this box. Now originally the thought is that I need something to hold the indicators on and then finish the back end off, but I also wanted something that I could put my tent, sleeping bag, airbed and so on and so forth on, which is where this came from. But having tried it with some stuff, I don't think that it's large enough. One of the other options was to have like some sissy bars or whatever they're called, bars coming out the back, a high bar coming out the back, like a backrest for somebody who doesn't sit there, so that I can bungee my tent and sleeping bag and all that stuff to that instead, to make it more secure. But then I realised I've got that from the other FJ, which comes with one of these. So I was kind of thinking, if I mount that on there, then it makes it a bit longer, wider as well. I get a nice little knuckle that I can rest them on, so I don't have to worry about it coming down over the back. I've used this on the other FJ and bungeed stuff to it, and it's been nice and stable, so I'm just wondering about putting that on there. I have got these fittings for it because this came off the old bike, but it doesn't actually need them. I can just drill down straight into that and then clamp this straight onto there, like that. And then that also means I can get to use that for day trips. When I go out with some mates, we go down the coast, and it's a pain in the backside having to lug around a helmet and a jacket on a nice sunny day. So that is actually ideal. Yeah, I know, top boxes and all that, but lock your crash helmet, lock your jacket in it, and then you can just go walking off in your boots and trousers and t-shirt on a nice sunny day. So yeah, we'll see what we can make of that. Right, so it's at the end of the day. That's what I've come up with. That bolt straight on this, the plastic bends, you can feel the bike lifting up when you lift this off of here. So I'm fairly certain that that's on pretty good. I would say you can lift the bike up with it, but that will probably snap. The only issue that I found with that was the light was then underneath, too far underneath here. Point the camera at it, Stu. There you go. Too far underneath there, and I didn't know if it was going to be too obscured by this. So I had to then adapt. The side bracket that I made for this, I've cut the top off. It needs some finishing off, it's still a bit untidy. And I can mount the light to that and then have the number plate coming down. So I put the number plate back in the middle because it just saves a lot of grief. I know it's not illegal to have it on the side, but I don't know, I just prefer it in the middle at the back. I don't know why, don't ask. And I can have the number plate off that, and that should miss the wheel when it's right up on full compression or whatever it is. Yeah, so that gets around that problem, makes that shelf a little bit wider, not by much, but hopefully by enough so I can get the stuff on there easier. I've also got, for the other FJ, a set of side panniers, the Krauser side panniers, and I'm just wondering if it's worthwhile mounting those frames on there. That could be another one. Right, well, time's beating me. That's just how it is. I didn't get a lot of time to work on the back end of the bike. Excuse me. But that's what it is at the moment. Get the light on it, hopefully that's going to be that. Maybe the panniers, I don't know. I have put these indicators on. I quite like it like that. I'm not sure about having the big boxes on the side. We'll see how it goes. The thing is to get this back on the road. I've got to make a decision, or I have made a decision about where I'm going, because I've got, well, how many projects? I've got Fudge, I've got the other FJ 1200, I've got the TZR, I've got the ongoing work on Perry's bike, and I've also got a car as well, a Mercedes 190E, an old one, 1983, that the gearbox has gone on after somebody didn't fill it with oil after I paid him to do it. and it blew a gearbox. It blew second gear. So that's now been sat in the garage for 14 years. And it's the same thing as it is with Fudge. I'm going to get rid of it. That's it. I'm going to get rid of it. Open the garage door. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. And so it's just sat in the garage for 14 years. But I'm hoping that I can get that out of the storage it's in now and in somewhere where some work can start on that. So I've got that project as well. So I've got too many projects. I've got the rat bike, I've got the TZR, I've got the other FJ, I've got the GSX, and I've got the car. And I just don't have the time for them all. So I need to cut at least one out. At least one, because I've got the Derby as well. Fudge, no, she's definitely staying, same as the Merc, for the same reason. Just I can't bring myself to get rid of either of them. Perry's bike, that's definitely staying. That's not even negotiable. The TZR, I'd really like to finish that. I've started it, I got it for a reason, I'd really like to finish it. The other FJ track bike, I've got kind of gone off that idea. I've got other hobbies as well, like as you probably saw, I go fishing, and I like my radio controlled cars as well. So I have to scale it down a bit. So I think what I'm going to do is the other FJ is going to become a donor bike for Fudge, to help me get Fudge back on the road quicker. So the front end, if it's possible to swap it, I'm going to swap it, because the front end on that bike has got the Yamaha R1 brake calipers on it, the blue ones, which is a good upgrade for an FJ, because the original brakes were a little bit on the iffy side, but those R1 brakes are just bam, just lots of stopping power. It's a massive upgrade from the originals. So if it's possible to swap it, I'm going to take the front end off of that bike and stick it on this bike. And then that other bike, like I said, is going to become a donor bike for this bike. And anything that's left over, when it's done, eBay. Just eBay the lot. So that gets that bike up and on the road, and gets rid of the 3XW as well. So this bike probably won't need to spend so much time in the garage. It can actually go out and get used. TZR, that'll be after, well, it's a Derby first, then Fudge, using the parts off of that, then the TZR, and get that back on the road, and then the GSX. And in the meantime, I've still got to see if I can do the car as well, because I'd really like that back as well. So the 3XW is going, the rest are staying. I might even have to get a bit more ruthless in future and cut back on another project, but like I said, definitely the GSX, Fudge, and the car, they're not going anywhere. They're definitely staying. So the only next step after this is going to be the TZR, and I really don't want to get rid of that. So hopefully that doesn't happen. But there we go. I think that's about it. Right, I've got to go through the rigmarole, putting all this lot back in again, going home, copying this off of this, and then hopefully I get a chance tomorrow to edit it and then upload it, and then it will be live on the web. Okay? Right, thanks for tuning in, ride safe, I'll see you on the next one.